What's going on, everybody? Jack Acid with ApexHead.com, bringing you episode 7 of the Zero to Hero F1 2012 Career Mode Series. And we are taking the fight to Canada, North America. And as you can see, down by a good 22 points to Sebastian Vettel. Lotus hoping for a P18 finish, starting off here in P24. And noticing that the Force India cars almost without fail are near the back of the grid every race, so that must be some kind of a glitch possibly of simulating through qualifying, not sure, but definitely have noticed. As we come up here into turn 1, and not a lot of room coming on the inside, De La Rosa cutting in front of us, coming around turn 1, and now a very tricky turn 2, trying to find some real estate, getting ahead of the HRT, now trying to split the Marussias. As we speed down towards turn 3, the AI notoriously slow coming into this braking point, and contact up ahead, all kinds of debris all over the track as we come through the very tricky chicane. And Timo Glock very slow, making contact now, getting some damage to my front wing, but not significant enough to go in for a pit stop. Now trying to get around the Marussia car, and contact here with Felipe Massa. Here through turn 6, forced off onto the lawn, and Mark Webber very slow. Maldonado almost coming into the side of us, and able to get in front of the very slow group of cars up into P13. So that was extremely close in terms of a penalty there. And it looks like we've just overtaken Lewis Hamilton, who's gone into pit here at the start of lap 2. And have to think maybe he was the one who had problems at turn 3 on lap 1, and that's what's put him back into the pit. So skipping ahead to the start of lap 3, chasing down Daniel Ricciardo with Toro Rosso. Still running in P12 and looking for a window on the inside here at turn 3, not going to find it. Coming around turn 4, and let's see if we can have a much cleaner exchange here coming through turn 6. Want to cut on the inside, able to get in front of him there. Now chasing down Kovalainen, cutting a little close there, but able to get some good exit speed as we try and chase down the Caterham. Almost kissing the wall there. And now speeding down towards one of the most difficult corners on this circuit for me, turn 8. Slowing down for Kovalainen, almost coming into the back of him. And Daniel Ricciardo trying to take advantage coming through the chicane. And able to stay in front of the Toro Rosso. That was very, very close. Wasn't expecting that kind of heat coming through there. So let's see if we can get around Kovalainen down here at turn 10 around the hairpin. And we are able to do so with ease. This is lap 3, which means that DRS is active. And Kovalainen presumably will have a chance to use it. Starting right now, as you can see, Fernando Alonso way too far ahead for me to activate mine. But let's see what the Caterham's got coming down the long casino straight here. And he's going to try and make a move on the inside, but backs off now as we come through the wall of champions. Able to handle that pretty cleanly and gaining some steam on the Caterham. Coming out of the exit there, and here at the start of lap 4, up into P10, looking at the back of Jean-Eric Vergne, who has now overtaken Fernando Alonso in the Ferrari coming around turn 2, so Fernando Alonso ambush, getting things a little bit wrong coming around turn 2, and here comes Kovalainen, not out of the woods yet, as we come down into turn 3, and Fernando Alonso probably feeling very frustrated that he's stuck behind Jean-Eric Vergne. Let's see how long this lasts. Things getting very, very condensed as we come around turn 6, hoping to avoid any kind of a penalty. Was thinking about having to go on the inside of Alonso, probably would have incurred some kind of a spin out, so wanted to back off and avoid it, and just chase these guys down, coming down again into turn 8, and going to avoid any kind of a maneuver coming through there. Really have our best hope coming down around the long straight again, as Kovalainen almost able to shoot around us. You can see that I was thinking about going through the window, but backed off and almost caused a collision with the Caterham. So now coming around turn 10, and we are plenty in range for DRS. In fact, able to get around Alonso with no problem. Let's see if we can make a move on Jean-Eric Vergne, and Fernando Alonso not going away, activating the DRS right away. So right when I think that we've got the exit speed to get around the Ferrari, Fernando puts us in our place, but able to stick with him easily and get around him coming down into turn 13, and once again avoiding the wall of champions pretty well. Able to get up into P9, so things shaping up pretty well here through the first 4 laps of the race. Now trying to cinch up the gap to Jean-Eric Vergne and the Toro Rosso. Coming around turn 2, a little too much gas laden. Fernando Alonso having a look on the inside, now backing off and able to hold our position of P9. Now skipping further ahead into lap 5 and activating the DRS coming down the casino straight. And let's see if we can get around Jean-Eric Vergne coming down into turn 12, and of course turn 13, the very tricky chicane, and overshooting here, and that's going to incur a penalty. And they're saying it's for causing a collision, but I have to think it was for cutting the chicane. It's going to be a drive-through. Not going to serve it just yet. Want to make some time. All kinds of commotion. Skipping ahead to the end of lap 6 and cutting the chicane again. This time trying to avoid contact with Sergio Perez. And you can see he falls back now up into P7. But something happened between he and Raikkonen coming down into turn 12 and able to take advantage. But of course we do have the drive-through penalty. Can't forget that as we skip ahead a handful of seconds trying to compete with our teammate Raikkonen. And let's see if we can catch up the Finn coming down into turn 6. And yes, very easily dispatching of him, hoping not to go wide. A little bit too much speed coming around there, but able to avoid the grass and get up into P6. So things looking very, very good here in lap 7. And now is a good time as any to go ahead and serve that drive-through penalty. I was trying to gain somewhat of a gap on the AI as I start to change my tires on accident there. Now changing my fuel mix. Not that I've ever been too close to running out of fuel in an actual race, but you never know. So now getting passed up by Jean-Eric Verne and dropping a couple spots here. There goes Nico Rosberg. And a good handful of cars coming out of here. And let's see where we end up. Want to be careful not to go over the white line. Very easy to do to get a penalty, but that's going to cost me as Hamilton able to sneak in front of me. And coming out basically back in P9, so staring at the back of the McLaren. And have to think that I probably would have gotten ahead of Lewis if I had a little more confidence coming out of the pit exit there, but I've just had too many close calls with that white line penalty, so better safe than sorry, especially considering how much time there is left. But you can see here, losing nearly 2.5 seconds just in the first sector alone behind the AI, so obviously want to get around them as soon as I can, burning off half of my curves already. And let's see if we can catch up Lewis coming through this very tight chicane. Not a lot of real estate to come through there, so ill-advised to try and take someone hip to hip if you can avoid it. And obviously no success anyway, trying to get around Lewis Hamilton, coming around the hairpin here, down around turn 10, and able to follow him around and accelerate out, and should have a nose over him as we get onto the casino straight, but no, the McLaren's still too fast. And so now going to activate the DRS as soon as we are in range, which we are now. And no more curves, as I just mentioned, but let's see if we can get Lewis around the outside. Not going to happen. Now looking at the inside and able to get around him easily. And handling turn 13 very, very smooth. Lewis not going into pit, but we are up ahead of him as we overtake a handful of cars in the pit lane. And looks like it's going to be crowded coming out of the exit as well, but don't think we'll be able to gain any more positions. And coming in too hot in turn 1 and almost going onto the grass, and here comes Hamilton. And like Alonso a handful of laps before, almost getting around us because of an error there, but able to stay ahead of him. So now skipping ahead to the end of lap 9 and coming around the wall of champions again, you can see at least one car to overtake. And it looks like that will be Jean-Eric Verne, and it is. So able to get up into P5, and now we are finally scheduled to pit, obviously having started off on the prime tires. So now checking on timing and scoring here at the start of the final sector, and as you can see, able to improve our time. And being reminded to do our pit stop. We have really worn out tires and a damaged front wing, currently running a rich fuel mix, and no opportunity for DRS. Going to go ahead and turn down my fuel mix now as we come in for our pit stop. And like many of you, I'm sure, this is my favorite pit entry, naturally, because you can just barrel into it at top speed and not have any care in the world, especially with any kind of a pit entry problem. So let's see what kind of pit stop we can get from the team. Remember, we do have the front wing change. That is going to add some seconds here. And getting out in just over 6 seconds, so pretty ugly pit stop, even with the wing change. Felt like they held me a little long there as we're overtaken by Jean-Eric Verne and Alonso now. And you may have noticed that I'm actually running the offset TV view for this particular race. Normally I run the TV pod, but wanted to try something different. My biggest problem with it is you can't actually turn your head, which I enjoy doing. So rejoining the track here in P8, trying to get around Alonso, coming around this very tight chicane of turns 3 and 4. Very difficult to overtake coming through there, but sometimes the AI is just slow enough that you can do so. So now chasing down Alonso and going a little bit too fast coming around here, and Alonso able to overtake on the outside. And we are wheel to wheel coming through the heart of Sector 2, screaming down into turn 8, and the pace of the Ferrari and myself almost even. Fernando Alonso able to get just ahead of me, but able to overtake him here at the braking point, speeding off onto the lawn there. Very, very slow coming through that little exchange, and Fernando Alonso not able to get around us. So fortunately able to hold the position, getting a purple sector time here at the start of lap 13, trying to chase down Jean-Eric Verne, and again going too wide here at turn 2, and trying to compensate for it now. And obviously a very good drive from Jean-Eric Verne here in the Toro Rosso. Right now he's currently running P6 late in the race. And that's a legitimate finish. Of course, I should have a chance to overtake him as we get a purple sector time, but still a very good result. As we try and catch up with him, a little bit slippery coming out of the exit. Now having very, very good pace, should have no problem getting rid of him at turn 8. But of course, the trick to turn 8 is actually turn 9 right after here. And it's so easy to miss your line coming through there and go off onto the grass, but in this case, able to compose ourselves coming through and get up into P6. So here at the end of lap 16, coming through turns 12 and 13, a little bit slow coming out of the exit, but no matter, no threat from behind. Here at the start of lap 17, and able to get a purple lap time, so that's good news. And up ahead, Kobayashi, well within our sights with just 2 laps to go here. And it looks like perhaps Sebastian Vettel might be in front of him, so we've got a chance to get into a podium position, it looks like. And I can see our teammate Raikkonen way up ahead. And right now I believe Rosberg leading the race, so let's see what we can do with this trio in front of us. And that looks like a back marker up ahead. Able to make a move on the inside of Kobayashi, coming around turn 6 and almost going off onto the grass, but able to get in front of him, so not a very clean overtake, but no warning from the stewards. And here is our teammate, Kimi Raikkonen. He was the one being blue flagged all the way down into 22nd or so something has happened to Kimi's race. And now things getting very slippery on the curb here at turn 8 and almost losing control. Kobayashi not able to get ahead of us. And thankfully able to retain our position here at the start of lap 18, trying to get around Sebastian Vettel coming around turn 1. And we are both wheel to wheel behind Jenson Button, now almost 3 cars wide coming through turn 2 and have to avoid the back of Jenson there. And fortunately able to get in front of the Red Bull up into P4, so now just trying to hunt down Jenson Button, going to get very aggressive here at turn 3 and getting in front of the McLaren before turn 4. So up into a P3 spot, and that's going to be the best that we can do here at the end of the race. As you can see, Nico Rosberg able to win. So despite our penalty, able to get a podium. Michael Schumacher coming in second here. And that is a very good result coming off of Monaco. So far able to salvage our season that was slipping away before Monaco. And there's our teammate Kimi finishing in 23rd for reasons unknown. Should take this time to mention that I'm not going to actually have time to finish this season as it stands. I'm going to have to condense these videos down into a handful of minutes, or maybe cover a few races per video in order to finish this before 2013 comes out. So probably a case of biting off more than I could chew, not realizing how little time I'd have to finish the series before the new game comes out. But that's alright, this was basically a time killer series anyway, so I'll do the best that I can. We'll see what happens. Taking a quick look at the points before we wrap things up, and now only 17 points behind Sebastian Vettel, right now riding in P3 in the WDC chase, and still only good for 4th in the Constructors. I want to thank you guys for taking the time to watch this video. I hope you join me at the next one, and that will be in Valencia in Spain. Hope to see you then.